What's going on? Welcome to Nale Virus. All right, first things first, I want to talk about some topic that has been going on for a while now. And it's kind of moved on. It's past its prime. The story is past its prime, I would say, but it's still very relevant. And I wanted to touch on this really quick. Welcome to the show. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Nale Virus, Nails, Nale. My name's Caleb. I want to talk about NIL and transfer. Okay. So I know you've heard this before. Okay. Everybody was talking about a week or two ago when we saw all these transfers going in the portal, big money being thrown out there. But I just want to tell everybody, let's calm down. Let's take a seat. Let's sit back and just watch what happens. I don't think anything drastic needs to change right now. Okay. What needs to happen is two things. First thing, maybe just one thing, but first thing is that when it comes to NIL, someone should not be able to go and poach a player from another team that has not entered the transfer portal. Okay, so if I go to Fresno State and Oregon comes calling, I say Oregon because I hate Oregon, and I'm their starting quarterback, and I haven't entered the transfer portal, Nike should not be able to come in and offer me 7 figures. And then I enter the transfer portal and take that deal. That should not happen. Okay, wait till they get into the transfer portal. It almost sounds criminal. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know the logistics of those things. But I think that's the main concern when it comes to NIL. I don't think it's really going to change much when it comes to kids committing out of high school somewhere. It'll change a little bit, but it's not going to change the dynamic of how good the teams are comparatively to how they are now. I think that will mainly stay the same. Second thing is this, and it is there is more concern with the transfer portal than there is NIL. And the reason I say that is because we asked for NIL. I think the NCAA did a great job, and I think everyone would agree with me. NCAA did a great job getting NIL into, I guess you could say, law, I guess, because they should be able to profit off their name, image, and likeness, and they should be able to make however much as they want, as they can, right? Within, or the right way. Let's say the right way. If they're going to make more than a pro, so be it. We asked for it, and I like it. But the problem now, my main concern outside of NIL is the transfer portal. So now the next step is to talk about the transfer portal and fix that up. We need to go back to where you have to sit out 1 year if you're going to transfer or go to JC. Now, I don't know the logistics, all of the fine print of the transfer policies, but from the outside looking in, kids are just hopping around to school willy-nilly, boom, 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 like free agency, right? And it's totally free agency because of the money that's being offered to them, right? And that's fine. You can do that. I feel a sneeze coming, so when it hits me, sorry, bear with me. Where's the sun? Okay, I got a little tickle. All right, we'll be all right. Okay, it's that time. It's really windy here. My allergies going nuts. All right, back to it. Transfer rules, transfer portal, I should say. If you are a freshman or a sophomore, you shouldn't be able to transfer. Not until after your sophomore season should you be able to transfer and be able to play. If you want to transfer after you commit, 3 months after you commit as a freshman, I saw this story. Some kid decided to do that. Sorry, you gotta sit out. You have that whole recruiting process to decide what school you're going to go to. And it's not like this kid. I don't remember. I shouldn't say names. I don't want to pick on anybody, but you have all that time to make a decision and consider, your family. And actually, you should just make it for yourself. If you're in high school and want to be a D1 recruit, make it for yourself. But if you commit, you commit. You should have to sit out again, unless you do it in that certain time frame where you can decommit and then commit again. But once you're on campus there and you commit, I don't really like this idea that kids can just hop around. And we're telling them or the NCAA is telling them that is okay, right? You've heard this argument before. It hurts. It's not a good character. It's not a good, it doesn't look good on your character, I should say. Right. And it's not teaching kids about life when things get hard just to transfer. No, you're going to have to work for 2 years, or you're going to have to sit out or go earn it at a JC, right? Unless you're a junior or after your sophomore season and you transfer and then you go play. I think that's the things that need to change when it comes to NIL and transfer portal. Something that was on my mind. I just wanted to let you guys know. Let me know what you guys think about the NIL and transfer portal. NIL is great. Just don't go poach people before they enter the transfer portal. In transfer portal, we need a little bit more regulation. And I hate to use the word regulation because I'm all for less regulation, right? We live in a free country and I want kids to be able to make decisions. But there has to be some way that we could teach kids to go work hard without bouncing around and saying, I'm not getting playing time, boom, and then go. Right. All right. Today I'm talking baseball and basketball. So that's that's the closest we're going to get to football, because I know the NIL and transfer is the biggest problem with football teams. It will be a problem with basketball, I believe, but not as much. We already see so many players transferring. I don't think the NIL is really going to affect it that much. And the best players go to the best schools anyways. So we're going to be talking MLB and NBA. All right. First, I got a few games I want to talk about. But first off, have any of you noticed how many errors there are in the field and on the base path? There have been so many base running errors. It's unbelievable. Maybe I'm just watching more, but I feel like there's been more errors now than I can remember on base running and fielding the ball. There's just so many. And I honestly, I'm going to blame it on the ball. I have heard, and you have heard as well, that the baseball is not the same, right? We see hitting way down this year. We see guys being pegged way up this year and pitchers are saying because they can't get a good grip on the ball. Every ball is a little different. They try and throw something, boop, hit them. Okay, and I'm going to get into that later. But the amount of errors for a professional baseball player is unreal this year. Let me know if I'm wrong, and I just don't watch baseball enough. But I have been noticing so many errors. All right. Some games, there's a few storylines I want to touch on, some things I saw. First one, I want to shout out Josh Naylor of the Cleveland Guardians. They should go back to Indians. That is the worst name ever. And notice they don't even use their logo. They just put a C and Cleveland. They never even use it. Go back to Indians, please. Way cooler logo. I like it. It's not offending anyone, trust me. But Josh Naylor, man alive, dude. You're on fire. Last 3 games, I think it's 3 home runs, 5 hits, 9 RBIs in the last 3 games. In the last 7 games, he only has 3 strikeouts. I mean, in the last 7 games, he's hitting .417, slugging .875, on base percentage of .444. I mean, the guy's on fire. He's had 24 at bats, 10 hits, and out of those 10 hits, like I said, 3 home runs in the last 7 games, 14 RBIs, and only 3 strikeouts. And the other reason I really like Josh Naylor, he stands up there with no gloves, and he freaking rakes, or he has been. I love it. Old school, man. Josh Naylor. Keep it up, bro. All right. Second thing I want to get into. Second game. Blue Jays Yankees. We saw Aaron Judge 3-run walk-off homer last night against the Toronto Blue Jays. They win 6-5. I mean, I told you, Aaron Judge, that's my boy. He's going to have a great year. He's going to lead the league in home runs. He's got a ways to go, but he's going to wake up. He's waking up, right? Few things about this game. The New York City mayor threw the first pitch. Please keep politicians out. Please, unless they do something that is good and they stop taking advantage of us and locking us down and things like that. I know I'm not supposed to be a political show because sports aren't supposed to be that political. Keep them. I don't want to see them out there. I don't want to see them throwing first pitches unless they do something that is warranting a first pitch. And he has done nothing. Okay. So get him out of there. All right. Start of the game, George Springer, leadoff home run. I think he's 5th all time in most leadoff home runs. I think the guy is great. I love that. You should, as leadoff hitter, you should be waiting on a fastball because you know it's coming and slug it out of here. For the young guys, I had this when I played baseball. I heard this from a coach. I was told this. Do not swing at the first pitch ever. Wherever you're batting, don't swing at the first pitch. I think that is the stupidest thing you could tell a kid playing baseball, especially anyone. If it's there, swing. Okay, here's my rule. If it's close, swing the bat. Okay, unless you're trying to work the pitch count. Other than that, swing the bat. And I think George Springer, he is the best to watch when you're teaching a kid or a baseball team what to do when you're leading off the inning or the game. Just watch him. That dude is awesome. I really like George Springer. Kikuchi. Yes, Kikuchi is the last name of the Blue Jays pitcher. He had a no-hitter through 6, by the way, or until the 6th inning. So through 5, lost it in the 6th. Then they pull him out, and their reliever, I forget his name. I think it was Garcia or something like that. He pegs a guy. Okay. They actually throw him out, and it was clearly not intentional. Clearly. Ump throws out the pitcher. Pitching coach comes out. Multiple coaches come out. They throw the pitching coach out. Then the next inning, Yankees pitcher throws high inside fastball at Bo Bichette's face. Go on YouTube. It was like here. He did that. Okay. Nothing. He didn't hit him. But the Jays manager complained from the dugout and they threw him out. Are the Yankees catered to? I don't know. But 3 people were tossed from the Blue Jays for an accidental peg. I guess we say hit by pitch. And 3 people were tossed. None of the Yankees. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying what I saw. I don't know. And then Aaron Judge, walk-off 3-run bomb, bottom of the 9th. Awesome hit. Freaking crushed it. I hate the Yankees, but I love my boy Aaron Judge. The other thing, as I was going through the MLB that as I was watching highlights and watching some games here, I was interested in the Tigers versus Oakland A's. I don't think I'll be saying Oakland A's very long. This might be the last year. Who knows? But I was watching the A's. They played a doubleheader. They won one. They split Tigers and A's in a doubleheader. And as I'm watching these A's players come up, the A's are really struggling. And the Tigers are really struggling. I mean, neither team has won, I believe, over 10 games this year. Maybe the A's. But the A's got rid of their best players. Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien. They're all on other teams. Right? It's just kind of that Moneyball approach, right? If you're into baseball, you know what that is. If you're not, you need to watch the movie Moneyball. Great movie. And my question is why? Why are we getting rid of these good players, our best players, to lose more games, sell less jerseys, put less seats in butts in seats. I don't know. I think this Moneyball thing is dead. Is it worth it? No. But in all honesty, because we saw that they, the A's, I think they had 0 free agent signings. I don't remember. I mean, from other teams, they they signed their own players that were going to go into free agency, but I don't believe they signed anybody else, like big names. What was it? They spent $0. That was it. $0 in the offseason. And now they're terrible. It doesn't make sense. You don't want to win. You don't want to win. And I'm not an A's fan, but it's hard to watch. I know people that are A's fans, and they don't want to be A's fans anymore. You know, it was fun. The Moneyball thing was fun while you were winning and doing okay. Like, you never were great. You were okay. And you found good players, and then you just give them away. Just, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't think the Moneyball thing is worth it. I don't think anybody else would disagree with me. And those guys they're not doing bad. They're free agents that they let go, or sorry, they weren't free agents that they traded away. Marcus Semien, I don't know. I mean, but he's fine. We're a month in. You can't tell after 1 month of baseball with 162 games. But Chapman and Olsen, they're fine. I see their names pop up all the time. I watch highlights of them all the time. Marcus Semien, he'll be fine. He actually had a great year last year, and he's had a similar start. So, I mean, A's, you got to figure this stuff out, man. All right. 2 more in the MLB, then we're going to move on to NBA. Mike Clevenger, pitcher for San Diego Padres, he had piggy tails. He's a starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres. He had piggy tails. Dude, please stop. It was disgusting. Unless you are a fierce Viking, or I don't even know what else you would be. I don't know. Please cut those off. They were gross. Fun game, though. But, ugh. Okay, that's all I got to say there. Last but not least, you know where I'm going. Angels versus Tampa Bay Rays. And the Angels no-hit the Rays. Detmers, starting pitcher. No-hitter. He did have one error. I'm sorry. There was one error. He did not have an error. There was one error made by his fielder, and luckily they counted it as an error, so it didn't count as a hit. But it wasn't a perfect game, but it was an error, and it was definitely an error. There was some discussion on if it was an error or not. It was definitely an error. And then Detmers no-hits the Rays, which is big because the Rays are a decent team. I mean, the Rays are 18-13. Angels, 21-11. By the way, the Angels put up 12 runs. They beat them 12-0. The Angels are for real. When Josiah and I did our prediction, I had the Angels winning their division. I'm sticking with it. I mean, you can't fight it anymore. As long as Ohtani and Trout stay healthy, they're going to be just fine. They also have a lot of supporting, you could call them supporting cast, but Marsh, their left fielder, he went 2 for 4 with an RBI. You have Rendon, who's their third baseman. He was 1 for 5, but he had 3 RBIs. I mean, Trout hit 2 home runs. Okay, he had 2 home runs. Rendon, his hit was a home run. Wallach, who is their catcher, he hit a home run. I mean, they went crazy though. Their bats were insane. And then they did bring in Tampa Bay Rays brought in who did they bring? Phillips, who was throwing lobs in, and they just freaking raked him. It was a joke at that point. the Angels were just messing around. So the Angels are fun to watch. And I don't think that they're going anywhere. I think they're going to be just fine. Detmers, with his no hit, this is what's crazy about it. He had 1 walk. You know how many strikeouts he had? 2. 2 strikeouts. That's insane. So there's 27 outs, right? In a baseball game. He only struck out 2. So 25 other outs they hit the ball. They made contact. That's crazy. That is crazy. Way to go in fielding for the Angels. I mean, Detmers, I'm sure, took everybody out to dinner. The Rays, 2, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts. So the Angels actually struck out more than the Rays. And Angels won 12-0. I mean, it's going to happen with a no-hitter. But I think that's fun and interesting. I mean, Detmer's only 2 strikeouts on a no-hitter. That's awesome. All right, NBA. 2 games last night. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. Game 5. The Suns blow them out. 110-80. Absolute blowout. So they take a 3-2 lead. Going to Dallas for game 6. I am not going to play profit here. I know we like to do that on this show, but I'm not going to play profit right now. But if you watch that, you tell me what you think. But Luka looks out of sorts. You know, he's slow, right? We all know this. He plays real slow. And I think I was looking at the pace of play. They're ranked 30th in the NBA. And the Suns are top 10 in pace of play. So 2 different styles. And for Dallas to have success, against the Suns, I think they have to play faster. They have the team to play faster with Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie and those. They have Trey Burke. I think they have to. I don't know about you guys. And same with Dorian Finney-Smith. Those guys can play. But I know Luka is playing most of the game, so he's got to play a little bit slower. He's very creative with how he scores. So it's more beneficial to him to play slow. But man, they don't. I mean, if it's just Brunson and Doncic, it's Doncic playing really slow. If he takes help, kick. But where's our other scores? I mean, Maxi Kleber. Oh no. Their shooter. I forget his name. Or Burton's. Davis Burton's. He needs to be there and just shoot. Just shoot. I mean, I don't know what to say about the Mavericks, but I will say this about the Suns. When they want to play, they could play. And that fan shouldn't have pissed off Chris Paul. I'm not a fan of Chris Paul, but he shouldn't have done anything to mess with Chris Paul. Chris Paul is fine. He's kind of like Luka Doncic. He'll play slower, but he's adapted his game. He plays faster now. He's a great shooter. He creates his own shot. But there's way more weapons on Phoenix. And Devin Booker, oh my goodness. 28 points. The guy is athletic. He can't miss. I mean, Phoenix is going to, I think Phoenix is going to win this. There's the profit coming out. And from what I saw, I mean, they just play harder D. And once again, Luka Doncic and the Mavs, they don't play defense that well. So, I mean, and nobody's going to stop Ayton. Nobody's stopping Paul or Booker. Booker had 28, Ayton had 20. Michael Bridges, 14. I think I was all over the place on defense. And Cam Johnson had 14. The guys were playing great. I thought Cameron Payne, I mean, he only played 4 minutes, but he was a positive. I mean, these guys, even Jay Crowder, who only scored 3 points but played 26 minutes. I like him. Biombo, he's great. I mean, there's no lack of players on this team. The only thing that they lack is a fire underneath them to get them to play hard every night. But I think that fire was lit with what happened to Chris Paul in Dallas. So that's my take on Phoenix and Dallas. I just think Phoenix is the better team. They'll win. It's sad to see Dallas. They need one more good play. I would say good defensive player that can put in some buckets every once in a while when asked to. Otherwise, you can't rely on Luka. He plays way too slow, and he'll score a lot of points, but it's one of those things where you say, all right, Luka, we're going to let you have whatever you want. You're going to have to beat us. We're going to lock everybody else down, go one-on-one, Luka and somebody else, put our best defender on you, and then try and beat us. And I don't think that they can do that. So, all right, other game last night, 76ers Heat, game 5 as well. Heat win 120-85. Complete and utter domination. The 76ers are done with after that game. I don't know how anybody watching that game could say, you know what? I think they still have a chance. They're going to go back to Philly. They'll win and then win game 7 in Miami. I don't know how you could say that. It may happen, but I don't know how you could say it. It would be a shock to me. Miami is too good defensively. I have heard multiple people already today say that Philly is so bad. Their offense is terrible. Where's James Harden? Where's Joel Embiid? Not one person has said Miami could play defense. I know they all know it. Everybody knows it. But how come nobody's talking about that? I don't know. First quarter. Let me show you this. First quarter, Miami 31-19. Second quarter, they both tied 25 points in the second quarter. Third quarter, Miami won by 3, 25-22. Then fourth quarter, right? We talk about fourth quarter, where the stamina comes into play and things like that. Miami puts up 39 in the fourth, Philly 19. So I just look at that. They're coming out the gates hot, ready to play. Philly wasn't ready. They were not ready to play. 31-19. Then fourth quarter, they're tired, right? Everybody's tired. Miami's ready to play. 39-19 in the fourth quarter. Bench points. You want to listen to this. Bench points. Philly, 27 bench points. Miami, 41. 41 bench points. Now, the only thing I would say is going for Philly is their points off turnovers. They scored 23 points off of turnovers. Miami scored 9. Okay. So even with great defense, if they're forcing turnovers, and I think it was 15-11, I think in turnovers. But all it tells me, and this is what I would tell all high school coaches, and I would show this stat to my team if I were you. You don't need to reach and steal to win big time. Play good, solid defense, force really tough shots, and rebound. And you'll win by 30, 40 points. I mean, it's phenomenal. The Heat are so fun to watch. Jimmy Butler is tougher than anybody. Maybe not Giannis, but he will play with it. Jimmy Butler is not afraid. Let me say this. Jimmy Butler is not afraid of anybody. And Joel Embiid, James Harden, they'll probably tell you they're not afraid of anybody. Not what I saw. They're afraid. James Harden was afraid. Joel Embiid was afraid. I heard reports that Joel Embiid wasn't talking to his team before the game. He's just kind of doing his own thing. And that's really the reason they won't win, because they don't have a leader. Nobody went over and grabbed Embiid. You're going to tell me he's a scoring champion of the NBA this year, and that's how he acts? What a joke. Come on, Embiid. If they want to win, Embiid's got to step up. James Harden, bitching and moaning every time he drove to the rim. Every time. That's what you're going to get against the Heat. You got to be tough. The Heat, they don't care. They're going right through you, and they will D you up. I was a little bit worried about the Heat in this matchup because I thought Embiid was going to be too big of a presence for the Heat to handle. I was wrong. He'd have no problem. No problem. And the argument, I guess, would be that Embiid is beat up. Dude, so is everybody else. It's basketball. I mean, I think Jimmy Butler missed a game because his knee was kind of beat up. Here he is, playing, dominating. After watching the Heat just take it to them, because I really like the 76ers coming out of their first series. They looked good. They were playing as a team. But with James Harden playing how he's playing, and we know this, James Harden disappears in big games. They won't win. James Harden will never win an NBA championship the style of play that he plays. You want to know the plus minus of the guys on the floor, 76ers? James Harden, minus 29. Joel Embiid, minus 29. Crazy. They were bad. I mean, James Harden was 2 for 6 from the three-point line. He had 14. Joel Embiid had 17. He led the 76ers in scoring. Tobias Harris had 12. I mean, but here, let me go to the Heat. This is fun. Okay. Jimmy Butler, 23. He led all scoring with 23. PJ Tucker, 10. Bam, 12. Max Strus, 19. Gabe Vincent, their small guard, point guard, 15. Tyler Hero, 10. Victor Oladipo, 13. There's bench players. I mean, you guys, what are you going to do, Philly? I don't know what you can do. I don't think there's any stopping the Heat going into the next series. So somebody's got to do something. But it's not going to happen. There's no leaders. The one thing I wanted to say before I forget about James Harden. He's a scorer, right? We know this. He is there to score points. So he should probably start scoring points. If he doesn't score points, it's never going to be close. Never. And even with the scoring champion, Joel Embiid, on your team, James Harden, just go out there and score points. There's no leader on this team. None. If I was Danny Green and Tobias Harris, I'm speaking up right now. You got to take over this team. I'm taking over. Right? Not necessarily in scoring, but when it comes to communication and talking, those guys have to step up. Maybe it's Maxey. Maybe it's the young gun. It probably needs to be Maxey. But with how bad those guys are playing and the history, right? And those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. Somebody better learn the history of James Harden in the playoffs. That's all I can say. All right, last but not least, if you're not watching the NHL playoffs, you need to be watching them. They are so fun. I can't talk about the NHL because I don't know enough. I don't know players. I love the NHL jerseys. I love hockey, the game of hockey. I don't watch it enough, though. But I'll tell you what, with phones being the TVs now, I give hockey 10 years. And it will be a huge sport. Huge. I'm saying it right now. Hockey, NHL, if you want to be huge, you could probably be the number 2 sport in the United States right now. It's that fun. I'm no joke. It is that fun to watch. And the guys are awesome to look up to. Tough guys. Those are men. Like, what? Am I going to watch men on the ice rink beat the crap out of each other, play really fast? Or am I going to watch James Harden and Joel Embiid? Come on now. Come on. Go watch the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. All right. That's it for me. Hopefully, Josiah will join me soon. See ya.